Hi, welcome to Conversations with a Wounded Healer. I'm your host, Sarah Bueno, and today's solo episode is going to be a love letter to about 55 really special people. Just to start out, I have to tell you, these solo episodes have been really hard lately. I know I mentioned that in the last one because, I'm a perfectionist, as I've said, and I have in my mind this idea that I'm supposed to have, kind of this fully formed, fully integrated experience before I can share it with other people. And I think to some extent that's true. I just met with my therapist today after being on, I was going to call it a retreat, but it's treatment, friends. It's treatment. I went to this place called Onsite workshops. And it's 6 days of really intensive group therapy and lectures and exercises and all sorts of experiential therapy. And it was absolutely amazing and blew me away. There's just so much great stuff came out of it. And so I went to my therapist today and was like, blah, 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 this is what happened. And this is the connection I'm making. And oh my God. And blah, 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 blah. And she just she leans back in her chair and, she does the very therapist thing of like, I don't want you to hear this as criticism or blah, blah. And I'm like, Susan, spit it out. Just say it. And she's like, the sense that I'm getting is that you might need to, and I interrupted her. I'm like, slow your roll. And she's like, yeah, slow your roll. And I realized in that moment, everything was in my head. And I know I preach this to my clients and, share this with students and friends and everything, that we don't figure this stuff out in our heads. It's really figured out more in our hearts. And when she said that, it kind of gave me permission to sit back and give myself some time and space to integrate the experience that happened for me. Part of the urgency that I'm having to share this experience is I have this profound amount of love for the people that I met over that last week at Onsite. We've got group messages going and, people saying amazing, lovely, wonderful things to each other and people asking for help. And some people are struggling and some people are doing great. And there's like everything in between. And it's the first time in a really long time that I've been with a group of people doing personal work that weren't other therapists. And so I got to be honest, initially, I was sitting in a space of judgment thinking like, well, everybody's having these great revelations and I'm not having these great revelations. And so I'm not going to get what I need, and setting myself apart from that. And, as the week wore on, it was so easy to take off that hat of judgment and to be able to just be like, oh my God, we're just all human, and open up to an experience of community and love unlike I've really experienced before. And I really wanted this solo episode to be specifically, like I said, a love letter and an expression of gratitude to the people that were there who created that space. One thing I've always told my patients and clients is that, group therapy, the therapist is great and all that. And we say some amazing things, oh my God. But really, the magic is what happens between group members. And this is the first time in my life I've gotten to experience that in such a true way. So I'm in love. I'm in love right now with 55 other people, and it feels amazing. And I was able to tap back into this inner light that I have that's been dampened because of being so stressed and honestly, trying to take on the world. And this experience to just step out of my life, slow down, reflect, and connect with other people was just absolutely transformative. Now, I've got a book by Mark Nepo. It's a daily reader book called The Book of Awakening, Having the Life You Want and Being Present to the Life You Have. And, like any daily reader, it's a collection of, pieces that you would read one day at a time. And I was looking up a reading about friendship and community, and this one is absolutely perfect. So it's called Ancient Friends. One climbs, one sees. One descends, one sees no longer, but one has seen. There is an art in conducting oneself in lower regions by memory of what one has seen higher up. When one can no longer see, one can at least still know. By Renee Dumal. In the 700s, in the Tang Dynasty in China, the poet Li Po wrote what is now a famous poem, Letter in Exile. It is for his ancient friend, So Kin. In the poem, we learn that the two have a deep, lifelong friendship, though they have only been together a handful of times. By the end, Li Po is awash with his old friend's presence. What is the use of talking? And there is no end of talking. There is no end of things in the heart. We are moved to ask how it is possible. They have spent more time apart than together. Yet the presence of a friend like this can shape one's entire life. If blessed, we have one, or maybe, if wealthy in blessings, two friends like this during our lifetime on earth. It's as if Li Po and So Kin are stars in each other's constellation, brief but enduring points of light. The difficulty, then, has always been how to make it across the dark from point of light to point of light. This is the providence of faith, the preservation of presence when we are not lighted. This friendship itself is a metaphor for another kind of friendship, our lifetime kinship with truth, with love, with unity, and with our higher power. Like Li Po without So Kin, we may spend much of our time unaware and unenlightened, yet the presence of truth and our higher power, like a deep and ancient friend, can shape our entire lives. So the inner task becomes, how do we make a lasting friendship with the unities that are larger than us? How do we keep their light in our heart when no stars appear in sight? I felt like that was perfect, and I have a feeling if any of my on-site friends are listening, they're going to feel that way as well. We only spent 6 days together, but I am absolutely certain that many of these people will continue on in my life. And whether or not they'll be an active part of my life, I don't know, but I know that they are an active part of a transformation that I think is happening for me. And I hope that will be happening for them too. And the love that was created and the love that we share will never be forgotten. So wanted to kind of explode all those rainbows, unicorns, and love all over everybody. I know it can probably feel cheesy and like, oh my God, what is she saying? She's crazy. And you know what? I might be, and I don't care. Who gives a fuck? Yes, I'm crazy. I'm cool with that, and I hope you are too. So thanks again for listening to Conversations with a Wounded Healer. Thank you to Andrea Klunder and Edwin Ruiz at the Creative Imposter Studios for editing, to Liam O'Donnell for the amazing album art photo, and to Ben Mueller for our theme music. Please continue to check us out on Facebook and Instagram and all the other places where you can find podcasts and social media connections. You can also find us at www.headhearttherapy.com/podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.